Well, here we are in March, and the wheat is starting to green up because of a recent rain. And Derrell, will we see cattle going on that wheat soon?
Well, wheat, we try to graze cattle in through the winter, and then this is about the time of year we get into first hollow stem, we're pulling cattle off. We've changed the timing a lot this year because it's been so disappointing. Wheat was, we never had as much wheat pasture this winter. Wheat was either planted late or germinated late, or it started growing and then quit. And so for all those reasons, we've already moved a lot of the cattle off of wheat. The first 6 full weeks of this year, auction runs in Oklahoma were up significantly. But in the last 2 weeks, as we're getting into the time when we typically see those runs of cattle coming off of wheat, actually the auction volume has been sharply lower. So I think we've already moved a lot of those cattle this year, and we won't see the normal wheat pasture run that we often get in March.
Now that's stocker cattle. Let's move on into feeder markets. What are we seeing?
Well, feedlots filled up a lot over the winter. If you go back to October, November last year, a lot of those lighter weight cattle went into feedlots because they really didn't have a home in winter pasture. So feedlots are fairly full, and so, as you think about it, even on January 1, we measured a slightly smaller feeder supply. Some folks were saying, well, that's going to help markets, and certainly it does help. We've already moved a lot of those cattle, as we just said, but at the same time, feedlots are fairly full, so they're not necessarily chasing as many cattle right now. So the overall balance hasn't changed a great deal, I don't think. Feeder markets are following pretty much a seasonal pattern right now. The lightweight calves are actually moving towards a March peak at this point. The heavyweight feeders actually bottom in February and start moving back up towards a summertime peak.
What do you have advice-wise for those cattle producers that just bought 40 round bales and are thinking about continuing the herd through a potential dry season?
Well, I think that's the thing right now is producers need to start now before they're completely out of feed and think about how you're going to stretch that, what's realistic about how much you can stretch that,
right.
And sort of set up a timeline of what you can do and then when you're going to have to make decisions to do something different. And of course, if we start getting rain, then all of that goes away, but it's really important to make some plans now before we get into that so that you kind of have a game plan in mind in case we just see a delayed spring or no spring at all.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Derrell. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.